right, and turn it down. I really like this track. Let's get it with this week's Torah portion. This is a pre-recorded video. All right, doing midnight oil. The Benaki and the babies are asleep, so I thought it would be best to do it while they were resting. And forgive me, I'm tired, so I might not have as much energy as I usually would have whenever I'm reading. So first, let me get started with saying Yabarakakum Yahweh Basham Hamashak Yahushai. All right, so most I bless you all on this Shabbat day. All right, so let's get right into it. This week's Torah portion, Exodus chapter 1. So I know I talked about it a little bit, and what I talked about was the abortions, right? Hold on, let me. Right there. That's what I wanted. All right. So I talked about abortions earlier, and the reason being was because this week's Torah portion was it mentioned the time frame when Pharaoh gave a charge to throw all the firstborn into the river, and this was the time frame when our legislator, our lawgiver Moses, Masha, was born. He was born during a time of great, great sorrow. And we see that same time frame is the same time frame that is in this week's gospel portion. All right, so that's something that you're going to notice. So there's a great slaughter of the children of Israel, and I would like to relate, Matthew chapter 2, verse 12 is where we're going to start this week's gospel portion at. Now, this is just a pregame video, just to let you know, what the Torah portion is about. We'll get into more details. But during the time frame of Matthew chapter 2, when Yahushai was born, there was a great slaughter amongst the children of Israel. And I personally believe that the time of Jacob's trouble is even more so upon us, closer than before. All right. So just something to take into consideration. All right, the time of Jacob's trouble is upon us, and and now this is just my own opinion that I do believe that ICE will turn on the Negroes, African Americans next, and but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion based off of my scriptural belief and biblical prophecy studies. So with that being said, this week's Torah portion, all right, just to go ahead and jump right into it. Let's start with the book of, let's start a screen share. I would like if you all would be able to see. All right. So let's start a screen share. And we're going to start with the book of, let me copy this link and share this out just in case somebody would like to join us. And we're going to start with, let me know, put a 7 when you do see this, if the audio is fine. All right. And hopefully it will be. All right, so let's start our screen share. And we're going to start with the book of, I want to do Matthew first because it's so short, and a lot of times we miss the gospel portion reading. So this is the book of Matthew, and we're going to start at verse 12, all right? And everything that's highlights where we'll read down to, okay? So again, this week's Torah portion starts with Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 through verse 12. Excuse me, I said that incorrectly. Verse 1 through verse 12. I did like a video of this earlier, but, let's get back to it. Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. Now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Now, keep this in mind. We were already in Jerusalem. All right. So coming from the east, saying we're looking at them coming from that Persian area. All right. I spoke on this earlier that these wise men. Now, notice this. Put away your Sunday school Christian childish, not coming down on anyone's former beliefs. What I am saying is put that away, and the mentality of them being just three wise men that we heard. You know what I'm saying? I think that was just to get us to think, but you have to think about this. These men came from Daniel. All right, they came from ancient astrologers that were looking for the specific constellational sign that would show us there was a king being born. All right, that the prophets prophesied of. So we were waiting on this. All right, so there's more books that talk about that, but let's stick to it real quick. So there was not just three wise men; there was a caravan of men who brought, you know, precious gifts for the prophecy to keep the newborn king of our nation and of the world alive. They were bringing gifts, not like, oh, here's a small bag or small box of this. No, this was so that the prophecies could be fulfilled, that Hamashiach uh, would be born and that he would be the king and savior of Yeshua. So it wasn't a small thing, it was a big deal. Verse 2 saying, where is he that is born king of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. And when Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem, all Jerusalem with him. So not just Herod, but as we see all Jerusalem, because why is all Yashar troubled? Because we know about this prophecy, and we didn't expect Yahweh to come and be a king that will suffer and die for us, because we were expecting a King Arthur, type legacy to be born. Which we can get more into that, but let's go on. So, verse 4. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded them where Hamashiach should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, art not the least amongst the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people, Yasharallah. Then Herod went then Herod idly or privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time that star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. And when you have found him, bring me word again that I may come worship him also. Now, we know that this wasn't true. Herod did not want to worship him. Herod wanted to murder the born king, Yahushua, in infancy. This is where we start getting to abortion, all right, and the whole Planned Parenthood, because there's always been a plot to wipe out the children of Israel. And when we go into the Torah portion pertaining to the birth of Moses, we'll see that plot was always there, even with a man whose name was Balaam. All right, Balaam was in this week's Torah portion also, and a lot of people may have missed it, but he was there. All right. Also, the angel of the Lord, Yahushua, was there with Moses. All right. So that's pretty awesome too. But we'll look at this. All right. So verse 9. And when they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they had saw in the east went before them till it came and stood where the young child was. And I think a beautiful part about this was, they never needed these wise men that came to find the king Yahushua. They never needed to go to Herod. That's just a part of this narrative. Saying you come into the land, you do it, you check in, right? So they checked in, but they never needed to go to him. Why? Because they were always following him. I know it right here, it says star. But I want to see something real quick, all right? I just for the fun of it, all right? And I don't want to spend too much time, but I want to give it my all. All right, so real quick, Esther. All right, so the word here in Greek is Esther. And I just want to look up a few things. All right, so Esther, all right, it's mentioned 24 times. Esther, probably from the base, G4766, or Greek 4,766 word that was translated. The star as strong over the sky, literally or figuratively. Now, I'm reading this, but I have something I want to add to it. Okay. So let's see. Okay. All right. Well, that was for my edification. I hope somebody's seen something and learned something up in there. I I like astronomy. All right, and I like to study Hebraic astronomy. And there's some people that don't believe in it, some people who do. And I'm here to help edify and show that even the zodiac is mentioned in the Bible. Okay, but let's move forward. That's in the book of Job, chapter 38. All right, so from verse one, read on down to see um, the tail of Taurus the bull. All right, you'll see Pleiades. All right, you'll see Orion. All right, and you'll see the word Mazzaroth. The word Mazzaroth, it's zodiac in Hebrew. All right, so verse 11. All right, and we're going to stop at verse 12. So this week's Torah portion is very short, pertaining to the gospel. All right, and when they were coming to the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, see? So get that out of your mind of the small little gifts that they had. They presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. So we see Hamashiach being born, right? All right, and being warned of Elohim, God in a dream. Some will say Elohim, and that's fine. Elohim, God in a dream, that they should not return to Herod. They departed into their own country another way. All right. Hallelujah. 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 All right. Kodash, 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 holy, 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 Kodash, 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 holy, holy, holy is the Lamb, Yahweh. Shai. All right, the Son of our Master and the Creator of all things, Yahweh. So with this week's Torah portion, it's a perfect segue because we are going into the Pesach season. Now, there's some people who are believing that they've celebrated they're celebrating Passover as we speak, but we shouldn't be. Passover is in the year of Aries. So according to let's see here, let's see. Let's pull up some. Let me see it, and I hope I get this for you. And let's see it. All right, so that's all right. Let me see if I can find this for you. Just bear with me for a moment, because I might. All right. So check this out. So in the month of Xanthicus, all right. Now I know that might sound like a new word to you. Don't let it bother you. All right. So Xanthicus is the name of the month, but of course it's not in English. All right. So here, let me give you this real quick. So 6 month. All right. It's on the Macedonian calendar. And the beautiful part about this, where we get our information from, is that it can be proven with date and timestamps. All right. So you have the Seleucid Syrians, all right, it corresponds with the month that we're currently in, which is the Hebrew month, which is also known as so-called Nisan, all right. Xanthicus, which is called so-called Nisan, all right, is the beginning of our year on the 14th day of look at this, it says 14th day of the lunar month. You see that? When the sun is in what position? Aries. Can you see that? Everybody see that? All right. Aries constellation. So, boom. Real quick overview read. All right. Aries, so called Latin, the ram, zodiac constellation located between Pisces and Taurus. Okay. So, just to get a few images, we as Israelites should know constellations. You're not a diviner of times, or you're not dismayed with the signs of heaven if you learn the constellations. Okay, if you learn the zodiacs. Okay. Here, let's say Job chapter 38, Mazaroth. I didn't say Nazareth. I said Mazaroth. All right. All right. Let's get the book of Job chapter 38. Job chapter 38. Let's do. All right. No, thank you on the cryptocurrency investing. I think we'll be okay for now. Greatly appreciated. All right. Sorry about the commercial interruption. All right. Let's see. Let's see. So the Most High is coming down on Job, like literally, and and it's really scary because he's asking Job some powerful questions that none of us can answer. All right, and all these questions, should make you, just want to put your head in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? These are all terrifying questions. You know what I'm saying? That really, I don't think. Let me see. One second. Let's get this right. Really, I don't think any of us would be able to answer. All right. So Job chapter 38, verse 28. All right. Hath the rain a father, or who hath begotten the drops of dew, out of whose womb came the ice, and the hoary frost of heaven? Who hath gathered it? The waters are hid as with a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Now let's stop right there. Let's go to this real quick. And canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades? All right. And I hope you all can see the screen. All right. All right. So Pallades. All right. Now, right here we have Kayamah. Kayamah. It says Wakayamah. Wakayamah. All right. So Kayamah, a cluster of stars, i.e., the Pallades. Pallades, the seven stars. Now, if you don't know what the seven stars or Pallades are, let me show you. Let's copy this. We're going to go right over here. All right. And you have the constellation of Taurus, the bull, which has this beautiful dragon ball, like looking light at the end of it. All right. So you have, let's use this image right here. I hope everybody can see this. All right. So right here you have the constellation of Orion. You can always spot Orion by the three belts that go across, right? So this is where the both sides says, can now loosen the sweet influences of Pallades, right? So Pallades is right up here in the top corner there. This is Taurus the bull. This is the constellation that uh, that comes right before Gemini. All right, before Gemini, you have Aries, right? Aries the ram. That's where we currently are right now. So when you see the scripture says the sweet influences of Pallades, right? That's these seven stars right here. And once you can see them on a very clear, beautiful night, they're so beautiful. It literally looks like a dragon ball in the sky. All right, but let's go back to the scriptures real quick. All right. Now here's our next point. Okay. Pallades and the chambers of the south. Like so, boom. Now here's our next one, Orion, right? Kasayal. So I should just call him whatever by his name. I've been calling him Orion. I should call him Kasayal. All right, Kasayal. So Kasayal, Orion, the constellation, Orion, Orion, the constellation in general. See that? Look, Kasayal, a fool, right? Boom, top entry. All right. Name of Kasayal, the name of a star or constellation, Job 9:9, also mentioned in Job 38, verse 31, and Amos 5:8. Accordingly to many of ancient translators, Orion, which the Orientals call, boom, and there it is in Arabic. All right, isn't that beautiful? They didn't call them Arabic, they call them Orientals, but the language that's there is the Arabic language, right? So, and I think that's why a lot of Yashar, I know that's why a lot of people say that we are Orientals, because we are, all right? Um, the giant, all right? They seem to have overlooked on this constellation as a figure of an impious giant bound in the sky against Job 31, 38, 31. Canst thou loose the bands of Orion? We must not interpret the scriptures as faulted excuse me, foolish superstition, contendence. All right, foolish superstition. All right, excellent. All right, all right. I'm learning with myself also now. All right, all right. So it says, understands it to be. That's his name. I was having trouble saying that. Abdul Wild understands it to be the Arabic word, which is Canopus, a bright star. Huh. Wow. A bright star in the helm of a southern ship. All right. Uh, and we see again Argo, Isaiah, as if it were the Orions or the giants of heaven, i.e., a greater constellations of the sky, such as Orion, which is in Latin, Sidonius, Scipones, I haven't practiced saying that yet, might be applied to men resembling Cicerio and Scipio. Pretty cool. Well, that's our definition that we have for Orion. So I hope you learned something there. Point in saying such as to say, when you see that constellation, which we see the name there is, how do you pronounce his name again? Casayal, all right, the constellation Casayal. The constellation Casayal is a part of a bigger picture, all right, which is called what? Look at this, Job chapter, let's go back up. Wow, that 9 was sweet. Uh, Chambers of the South. Now, I don't know what Chambers of the South means. All right. And I'm not one that like to fake the funk, like, oh, yeah, I got the answer for everything. I don't. I don't have the answer for everything. All right. The scripture says that we know part, we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, we will know even as we are known. All right. So again, when you're looking at this pertaining to the star, all right, that the wise men followed. All right, this star wasn't just some regular namby-pamby star. This was a part of something that was, moving, something that had a destination that it was leading them to. So they never needed to go to Herod in the first place. But let's look at this real quick. So Pesach has to be during a constellational time frame of when the sun rises in Aries. So if you've kept Passover, you're keeping it too early, too soon. All right, hope that helps. But this is for in this month it was that we were delivered from bondage under the Egyptians. All right, so Israelites, Hebrews, African Americans, blacks are not the same as the Canaanites and the Hamites, which are known as Egyptians. Right, we're not. They had us in slavery. They did some of the most atrocious things to us, and we're going to learn about this Egyptian slavery this week with this week's Torah portion. We're going to learn, how the process of infanticide, which is in con which is infant murder, infanticide was practiced by the Egyptians against the Hebrews. Kwam Kwam. Shut, shut. All right. Was practiced by the Egyptians against the Hebrews. All right. It says what? The law ordained that we should every year slay a sacrifice, which I before told you we slew when we came out of Egypt. Which is another point. A lot of Israelites say that we can't lay down, lay down. A lot of Yashralim say that we can't keep Passover because Passover is when we practice the Pesach, we aren't in our land, so we shouldn't do it. And I just want to remind everybody that the first Passover was not held in the land. All right, the first Passover was held while we were in captivity in Egypt. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. So the law ordained also that we should every year slay a sacrifice, which I before told you we slew when we came out of Egypt, and that was called the what? The Passover. For we do celebrate this Passover in companies, which is another thing. You have some brews that like to keep the Passover by themselves. You're an Aryan violation. You Hebrew individualites. You destroy families. You destroy marriages. You destroy communities. You destroy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm gonna do it by myself for lights. You're just wrong. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High says we do celebrate in companies, leaving nothing of what we sacrificed till the day following. We burnt the rest. The next day we didn't have take home plates and poo platters and I'm gonna give some to the neighbors. So once you finish your Pesach, your Pascal, it's actually called Pascal. Once you finish your Pascal lamb, you're supposed to burn the remainder. Don't save it, try to use soup and we're gonna take some to our coworkers. No, if they didn't keep the Pesach, they missed out on it. So burn the rest. All right. Oh, but we can give it to the poor. No, that's not how it said. Burn the rest. All right. The Feast of Unleavened Bread succeeds that of the Passover and falls on the 15th day of the month. and continue 7 days, wherein they feed on unleavened bread, and every one and every one of which 2 days, which days 2 bulls are killed, and 1 ram and 7 lambs. Now these lambs are entirely burnt, besides the kid of the goats, which is added to all the rest for sins. All right. For it is indeed as a feast for the priest on every one of those days. Now I'm going to copy this, take it, and matter of fact, I'll just bring the whole link over for you. All right, and this should be able to help whenever you go back to review this, watch for yourselves. Study to show yourselves approved. All right, that's the main thing. Study to show yourselves approved, because we can say it all day, but until you pick it up and start conquering it and take it for yourself, then it's not going to be as effective. So there's the link right there. Make sure you click the link so you can see where we just read from. All right, and there was something else I want to go with that. Let's go over here, and let's go to. We can close that window down since we confused. Let's go over here and let's go to St. John of Damascus life. Okay, right. St. John of Damascus, book number 2, chapter 7, light, fire, stars, and the luminaries. All right. So let's go over here real quick and let's check this book out. We're going to go to a book called An Exposition of Orthodox Faith. All right. So we're going to go down to a section that's called chapter 7. And it's, as you heard already, on light, fire, stars, luminary. Whenever I teach people about the shape of the earth, etc., like the earth is not flat. It's because I'm coming from scriptural antiquitous books. All right. That have been validated and proven that I'm not just freestyling. Okay. So I want to read this section real quick. This section is on, let's see. I hope while I scroll down, hopefully you see something that interests you. All right. So this is a section that's on seasons. Now we're going into the springtime season. We're not in it yet. We're still in the winter, right? So it says, so then, it is the sun that makes the seasons, and through them the year. It likewise makes the days and nights. The days when it rises above the earth, not going around in a circle, no flat earth philosophy, and the night when it sets below the earth. So this means that the earth is a sphere, it's a shape. It's a spherical shape. And when the sun is above the earth, that's when on our hemisphere, we're in the northern hemisphere. When it's above, then we can, enjoy, we can bask in it. But when it's below, balance and set order, and that light is now given to the southern hemisphere. All right. Now, and besides, it bestows on other luminaries. So this is also letting you know that the sun shines its light on the moon, because some people believe that the moon reflects its own light. Well, that's not true. It's a luminary. It's a luminary for reflecting light. Okay. All right. Both moon and stars, their power of giving light, giving forth light. All right. Further, they say that there are in heaven 12 signs made by the stars, and that these move in the opposite direction of the sun and moon and the other 5 planets, and that the 7 planets pass across these 12 signs. Further, the sun makes a complete month in each sign and traverses the 12 signs in the number of the months. These then are the names of the 12 signs and their respective months. So I'm going to take and copy paste this, because this can help clear up a lot of misconceptions about a lot. This can help clear up a lot. There's a lot of meat here. All right, so I'm going to copy paste this and I'm just going to put it over here. And then whenever you're ready, just take a gander at it. It's there for you. It's free. All right, I'm not even charging for this. You know what I'm saying? I got like 7 subscribers on my page. So, I'm obviously not doing this for the shekels. So take the information. It's free. All right. You can see it for yourself. It's right there. It's in the back chat. All right. You'll all be able to see it whenever you're ready. All right. So look at this again. Further, they say that, this is what I want to bring out. Further, the sun makes a complete month. In each sign it traverses the 12 signs in the number of months. So all we have to do is keep track. Now, there's a brother I know that's named Amos, named Yasharala, all right? And he believes that, he believes a different counting system than I do. I will say this, he's very blessed in his numerical system and how he counts. So he'd be a good brother to talk to. But check this out, all right? The ram, which receives the sun on the 21st of March. The bull on the 23rd of April. The twins, the 24th. Shalom to the twins. All right, Lakum, Malak to our twins. That's right. All you brothers. All right, the twin, 24, the twins on the 24th of May. The crab, all right, for all my Cancer family members. Cancer women. On the 24th of June, the Virgin, on the 25th of July, the Scales on the 25th of September, the Scorpion. On the 25th of October, the Archer. On the 25th of November, Capricorn, 25th of December. Aquarius, 25th of January. The Fish, 24th of February. But the moon transverses the 12 signs each month. Since it occupies a lower position, it travels through the signs at a quicker rate. For if you draw a circle within another, the inner one will be found to be in the lesser. So it is owing to the moon occupying a lower position. Its course is shorter. It is shorter and is sooner completed. All right. So we get into this part right here to where the elder teaches us that the Greeks use these for superstition. We do not. Okay. So the Greeks use these for what is known as the phrase astrology. All right, but we don't operate with that terminology. We will use terminology. We don't operate with that philosophy. All right, we don't do astrology. We do astronomy. All right, so real quick, the supposed science, which determines the supposed science, which determines the influence of the stars, especially of the 5 older planets on the fate of man. All right, astrologica judiciata. All right, or the judiciary laws of astrology. All right. Mundane or judicial astrology, all right, or the changes of weather. Now, I will say this, that the constellations, the sun, the planets, etc., they do have an effect on the Earth, very much so. Earth science, Earth, solar weather, etc., and such. But the biggest things that we are looking for are the coming signs of Christ, our King, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. That's what we're looking for, all right. So he tells us we can discern the signs of heaven, but we can't discern the signs of the coming of man. And with this week's Torah portion, I just want to encourage everybody, just as Yasharallah went through the time of Jacob's trouble, then we're going to go through the time frame of Jacob's trouble coming up in the future. I personally believe that, yes, ICE will have a part to do with it. We just seen that there was a woman that was murdered in the street, shot 3 times in the face, or one of them hit her face. It was just terrible. But it was a real event that actually happened. So we can see that the time of Jacob's trouble is upon us. Shalom to those that burn the midnight oil. All right. But we can see that it is an event that's happening. And we are living that time frame. So Hamashiach's birth, which is what we just read, please go back and watch the beginning of this. All right. Because you're going to get some jewels out of it. And for those who do, I pray that you enjoy it. And this is the beginning portion of this week's gospel portion. All right. I gotta change the title. I got a title for Exodus, all right, but we read Matthew instead. And the reason being is just because, as you see, it's a shorter portion. All right, so we did Matthew chapter 2, all right, and we did verse 1 through verse 12. We also pulled Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of Jews. We also read from St. John of Damascus. All right, light, fire, stars, luminary. That's called luminaries. That's called book 2, chapter 7. All right, Orthodox faith. And the reason we did is because we wanted to show Hamashiach's birth time frame, how it should also be observed on the time frame of the constellation of Aries. All right. So if you're doing it before that, you're too early. If you're doing it after that, then you're too late. Okay. So all of these things, they matter. They come into play because as we're growing as a nation, what we're supposed to be doing is taking these things out of consideration and putting them into application. All right. So with that being said, I pray that was a help at all. All right, I pray somebody heard it and enjoyed it. All right, and that was it. Shalom to the person just clicked on. I'm about to click off. I'm doing short videos. This is only like I'm not doing videos over 45 minutes and the babies are sleeping. All right, so I'll try to come back again and do the profit portion, and then also the law portion is going to be longer. So this video is not longer than 40 minutes. All right, go back and check it out. All right, y'all come here so much at Shy and Shabbat Shalom. I hope you enjoy. Rest. Enjoy your Shabbat if you can.